What makes cities work? Great cities have public places where people can come together to shop, to learn, or simply to gather. But there's one important thing often overlooked that they have in common. They are all connected. In a great city, it's easy for people to move around, to get from place to place. That was true in antiquity. Didn't all roads lead to Rome? Here in Boston, we have something even better, the T. It's a connection to almost anywhere in the city. We are going to take you on a T trip to Park Street Station to get to know the story of the connector that helps make Boston work.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I live in Alston. My T-stop is the Harvard Ave station on the Green Line B. I'm taking this all the way to Park Street Station to meet Joey.
Hi everyone, this is Joey, and I'm in Back Bay right now, and the closest T station to me is Prudential. So I'm going to take the E line all the way to Park Street, and then I'll meet Ashley over there. So follow me, let's see what happens.
You might wonder why we chose to meet at Park Street Station. Park Street was one of the first stations built, so it's a logical place to start the story of the T.
Park Street Station marks a monumental moment in Boston history. It traveled just one stop beneath Tremont Street to Boylston Street Station. The Tremont Street subway, what we now know as the T, started at Boylston Street Station, passed through Park Street, and ended at Haymarket. It was just 1 mile, 3 minutes, and 5 stops long. But why was such a short subway built?
In the mid-19th century, Boston began to change drastically. European immigrants, mostly Irish immigrants suffering from the potato famine, flooded to the US and arrived in Boston. This influx in population led to major street crowding, so much that in 1893, the city's surveying department complained of the stupendous congestion problem. If you walk from Park Street Station to Boylston Street Station, you'll be walking along the site of what was the greatest street congestion in Boston. The worst spot was at the intersection of Tremont and Boylston Streets, where pedestrians, horse cars, and streetcars were all crammed together. To help resolve this issue, Boston decided to move the streetcars under Tremont Street and build a subway, and many of those new immigrants were the ones doing the work. In just 2 years, Boston completed construction on the first subway in America and opened it to passengers. The subway was a success. The city moved quickly to expand its reach, integrating streetcars and elevated railways. When the Tremont Street subway opened, it linked Boylston Street Station to streetcars going west. 1 month later, a second branch off Boylston opened. This one connected service with southbound streetcars to Roxbury and Dorchester at the Pleasant Street Incline. Then in 1901, the mainline elevated railway opened. Trains began in Charlestown and traveled through the Tremont Street subway, ending in Roxbury at what is now Nubian Square. In 1904, the East Boston Tunnel opened. It ran under Boston Harbor and connected East Boston to downtown. It was the first subway in North America to run underwater. Then in 1912, the Cambridge Tunnel opened, connecting Harvard to the Park Street Station. Fast forward to the 1950s and 60s. Boston's business districts were growing and more workers were commuting into the city. Demand for mass transit increased. The city worked on a plan to connect all existing rail lines in and around Greater Boston into a single system. In 1964, the integrated MBTA was voted into law. The subway lines were consolidated into the T. Each line was renamed by color: orange, blue, red, and green. The elevated main line became the Orange Line, the East Boston Tunnel the blue, and the Cambridge Tunnel the red. The original Tremont Street subway now forms the central part of the Green Line, with A, B, C, D, and E branches.
Connectors have always been a critical piece of the urban DNA. For example, take ancient Rome. Rome became a city sometime in the 8th or 7th century BCE, but for a few hundred years, it was a pretty small place. In the mid-4th century, before Common Era, Rome started expanding into central Italy and became embroiled in a series of wars. These revealed a big problem: slow movement of supplies, troops, and orders between Rome and their allies. To solve this, the Romans decided to construct a wide, permanent stone road, the Via Appia. In its initial construction, The Via Appia was a 132-mile-long connector between Rome and Capua. Thanks to the Via Appia, the Romans were able to replenish supplies and troops swiftly, and this in turn led to a series of military conquests, and more. The Via Appia made the trade and travel much easier. Over time, the Romans built out a huge network of roads linking Rome, the city, through Italy and beyond. The Roman roads were built to last. It's now 22 centuries since the construction of the Via Appia, and it's still in use. It's now 400 miles long, connecting Rome to Brindisi on the opposite side of the Italic Peninsula. The roads of Rome are one of the best ways for us today to appreciate the empire's once mighty reach. These connectors do more than connect us in the here and now. They also connect us to the history. Likewise, the T is more than just a transportation solution. It is a reminder of a time when Boston's open arms accepted those seeking refuge, and how those people helped create the city we have today. The T was inspired by the flow of immigrants to Boston, and many of those same people were instrumental in bringing it into being. The T does more than just linking us to other parts of the city. It's linked us to the city's past and to its future. Right now, it's the Green Line that's growing. For 110 years, the last stop was Lechmere, the $3 billion project to expand beyond Lechmere being 50 years in the works. With the first proposal made in the early 70s, planning began in 1991 and construction in 2012. The new stops will lead north up to Somerville and Medford. And you know what's cool? The newest stops will connect directly to the oldest. On one line, you will be able to go from Medford right back to Park Street.
A city is like a human body. The flow of people are its blood, and its connectors are the arteries. That blood helps carry technology, ideas, and skills in and around the city, nourishing its prosperity. As our bodies grow, our arteries do too, keeping us healthy. And as cities grow, connectors do too. They're indispensable and dynamic, keys to urban prosperity. Just as the roads helped make Rome mighty, the T has facilitated Boston's growth and vitality.
So next time, when you are trying to explore Boston, take the T. With just one tap of the trolley car, you will be connected to the entire city. Enjoy!